All right, everybody, this is Jimmy and Nate. We're going to go ahead and get started here in about 1 minute. Thank you for joining, and we'll do a formal introduction then. And while we're waiting, if someone can just put in chat that they can hear me speaking, that would be awesome. That everybody can hear me. All right, good to go. Thank you.
While we're waiting, if you're a previous Bankrate advertiser, could you put that in chat? Are we dealing with all new Bankrate prospects here? All new.
All right, Robert, good to have you on, Robert. West Coast doorway. All right, Nate, let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm Jimmy King with BankingBridge, and Nathan Healy on the Bankrate side is with us. Nathan is the GM of the mortgage lending space. I'm going to share my screen so that you all can kind of see where we are. So let me do that real quick here. Lost it. We can give a little example of what we got going on here. So we've got, oh no, excuse me, sorry about that. So Nate and Jimmy, we're going to be taking you through why more lenders want to advertise with Bankrate, some of the advantages of Bankrate, and Bankrate is they have over 100,000 individuals each year. They've been around for 30 plus years. And as you can see, they own 28% of the organic mortgage search. On the BankingBridge side, we work with 80 plus mortgage lenders, big and small, all over the country. We're doing about 8,000 leads a month, and we focus mostly on website leads. So we're not buying leads from third parties. We're focusing on conversion on the website side. And we are modernizing how mortgage lenders shop. So we kind of, as Nate and I were talking about this week, we really wanted to discuss how people can leverage Bankrate as a advertising partner and get more out of their Bankrate spend by the people visiting their website. So we're going to talk about that. Nate, anything you want to add there?
Maybe just a few quick hitters. Probably the only picture you'll find of me in a suit there on the left. Jimmy and I both. I think the theme of this is how Bankrate and BankingBridge are really complementary to each other. Hence the partnership that we're putting together in this webinar. But fun fact, kind of how Jimmy and I got to know each other. We're both App State alumni.
That's right.
Go Mountaineers, and hopefully this is a helpful explanation of both the value of Bankrate, but also the value of Bankrate paired with BankingBridge as well. So yeah.
Yes. And we're both former athletes, so we've been through the ringer there. So let's go ahead and kick it off.
Keyword
yeah.
Former.
Yeah, former. That's right. I'm an old man now. Yeah, go ahead and kick it off, and we'll talk about kind of the Bankrate side first, and walk through. We've got 8 or 10 slides here, and then show some live demos on what we're actually talking about in these slides.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try to visualize and talk this through kind of in the same way that most of our consumers interact with us. And so the first step of that, and really a key point overall of our traffic is, we see 94% of our volume right now coming from organic sources. So what that means is, essentially a user going to different types of keywords within Google, and not the paid advertisements that you kind of see, Cap Center, Lending Tree, NerdWallet here, but the first or the second, or at the very top of the organic search results. And Jimmy's going to touch on kind of the value of that. and I'm not going to sit here and say that that number is always 94%, but it is always a vast majority of traffic that's coming from an organic search. And so, as the user progresses and they come to our rate table, I think it's just key to keep in mind that these are a different quality of user than someone that's going through a paid marketing channel. And so if the user clicks on current mortgage rates, Jimmy, if you'll go to the next slide, they're going to land on our rate table. And I'm going to talk a little bit about exactly how the rate table works, and you can kind of see the bullets on the left. But I think the key thing that I want to highlight first is that the user is going to see your brand on the rate table without having to enter any kind of information. And we'll go into some of the value of that later, but I just want to emphasize that. And so on the rate table, most of our lenders display rates, but we do have the option, if you do not want to display rates, to have, call it a content only placement. And we've kind of shown you an example of what that could look like. Our rate table is sorted based on 8-year cost of loan. So it's not strictly rate or APR based, but it's how much is going to come out of the user's pocket, both from payments and fees within 8 years. We use that 8-year mark because you can find this number a variety of different places, but the average homeowner, we believe, is in their home for 8 years. So what is the best deal for the consumer? And we rank in that order. That is also what makes us feel very confident in how we are presenting our partners to consumers in compliance with the CFPB. And I'm sure everybody's been going through, if you're advertising on rate tables, going through some CFPB reviews over the past couple of months. And so we've reviewed every aspect of our business, and the way that we display our rates and the way that we generate leads for our consumers, we feel really, really good about being in compliance with that guidance. If you do run a content only placement, that's going to show up every 4th position on the table. And the last key point here that I would make is that, and we'll talk about how we ingest rates and how we show rates, but these rates are real time. And if a user were to go interact with the filters at the top of the page, those rates are going to change. And so they're going to be specific rates to the search that the user is doing on the rate table where Jimmy's cursor is right there. So that they should be pretty accurate to what you end up working if you're able to contact and get the user into it through an application and getting close to lock. So that's an overview of the rate table. And Josh, I see your question. We'll get to that one at the end about how we can get you approved and set up on the table. So once the user clicks next on one of those offers, they're going to go into our lead form. And so we do this. We do have CPC options available called on the home equity side. So we're not talking about home equity here, but we do have CPC options available on the home equity side. But our mortgage rate tables are all lead based. And so the user is going to go through a Bankrate lead form. That lead form is, call it 16 plus questions. It's asking everything from, where are you trying to get a mortgage, to have you had bankruptcy, to are you buying a primary home, secondary residence, all that. We're trying to answer as many questions. It's a very thorough lead form. Once the user goes through the lead form, we do offer them the option to connect with 2 other mortgage lenders. So a Bankrate lead is not exclusive. I want to make that point. But it can be sold a maximum of 3 times. So some of our other competitors, that's not quite the case, but we also aren't exclusive. We're kind of right there in the middle. Most of our leads are sold about 2 times. So we do offer that, but the user must opt in to wanting to get that additional, call it, option. The reason we do that is when we didn't, we just saw users would just come back through Bankrate and apply for another lead from another lender. So we just try to simplify the process for the user. We also see that users that get multiple quotes are more likely to convert with a Bankrate lender. So it kind of lifts all boats. We can talk more about that later too. Uh,
And Nate,
Go
quick
ahead.
question on that, Nate, with the lead data. Do most all of your participating lenders, do you have connections to their CRM? Are you guys sending that lead data over?
Yep. So
Rerouting?
we'll get to that a little bit more in depth on one of the next slides, but we are in the lead form, we two-factor authenticate the user, and we'll kind of get into that too. But as soon as the user completes the lead form, that lead data will be posted directly into your CRM. And so we work with all the CRMs, even custom CRMs. I think Natalie and Sarah are on the call from our account management team, and they might not want me to say that, but the standard CRMs are definitely much easier, but we've worked with the gamut. And so we work with you. We make sure the leads are getting posted correctly prior to going live. But as soon as that lead is submitted, you're going to have real-time access to be able to dial, text, email, contact that user. We'll talk about the centralized lender hub and all that comes with that on the next slide. The verified contact information, as I mentioned, the two-factor authentication. We know these users are getting a text message and getting the code and putting that code in. So while they all will not answer your calls, I'm not going to sit here and say they're all going to pick up the phone and talk to you. We do know that that phone number is a legitimate phone number. We're also verifying the email address. And so we see pretty strong contact rates across the board. And then the way that we do the pricing, we have our own product and pricing engine called Loan Tech. It's fairly simple to integrate with. You can send us rate sheets daily, multiple times a day, weekly. It's really up to you on how frequently you want to do that. But we ingest those, and that is how your rates are displayed in a compliant way to the consumer. If you're interested, that's part of our onboarding process. We dive into that pretty granularly with you on how to set that up, how that works, and make sure that you have all the access you need there. Maybe that's the one thing I forgot there is you have a dedicated account manager that will hold your hand through the onboarding process, but then is there for you, as you're advertising. If you're having any systems issues, seeing anything that doesn't look correct, there's a dedicated account manager there to service all of your needs. Jimmy, let's go to the lender hub, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So in the hub, this is really call it the self-service, which allows you to kind of pick and choose where you play. We do require that you play statewide, so we don't allow zip targeted advertising, but we do allow you to pick and choose your states. You can pick and choose which states you're running in. You can have different campaigns for different times of day for different products, etc. Again, this is something that our account managers will help you set up and walk through, but fairly simple and straightforward, and how you can kind of control when you come on and off the tables. This is also where you'll fund your account. That's a key point. And then reviews that you see on the rate table, I didn't hit on that, but that's a key value prop feature. If you go back, Jimmy, to the rate table, I can kind of highlight where those reviews come in. The stars, those are all legitimate reviews that we have users submit through Bankrate that we verify. And so a lot of our lenders have strategies to get their clients that they close loans with to submit reviews through Bankrate, and then we verify that they're real reviews. But that review platform is managed here as well. And then performance, we can send you daily, weekly, monthly reports in here. This is kind of what our account managers utilize to help facilitate that as well. Again, that's the very 30,000 foot view of the centralized lender hub. We call it BAP, the Bankrate advertising portal. But it really powers a lot of this to be self-service and give the lenders a lot of control over when and where they show up.
So Nate, I was going to pause right here. If there's any questions on that section, feel free to put those in chat, and we can get to those. And go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. And so I think kind of where the Bankrate BankingBridge, synergies come in is what we'll spend a little bit of time on here, called what we're calling the halo effect. And we've heard this from our partners for a while, but through conversations with Jimmy, I think we have some pretty, fascinating and concrete data to show you and back this up. We also received an email today that we decided that we'd share, and I'll kind of read that to you, so in case it's too small. But essentially, the theme is, because the users are seeing the brand, because the users are seeing the rates, they all may not want to interact with Bankrate. Even though we've been around for 45 years and we're pretty trusted in the space, there is a percentage of the population that doesn't want to give their information to a third party that's had really poor experiences, then getting bombarded with 50 phone calls. And so we know that some users come to our tables, they'll see the brand, and then Google will go directly to the brand and then interact with the brand there. That is not part of the Bankrate lead cost. Now, the Bankrate lead cost, I think you saw it on the other side, is definitely maybe higher than other platforms. But we believe the quality of Bankrate performance alone is enough to justify that. But then when you throw this type of, call it halo, or essentially brand marketing conversions that aren't included in your price, you really get a subsidized lead price. And so we see that a lot. Jimmy's going to walk through some data, but the email we got earlier today was, hey, are we getting BankingBridge leads from Bankrate? Because when we turned on Bankrate yesterday at 1, we hadn't received any leads from BankingBridge, meaning any leads from our direct, website that we run for our lender. But once we turned on Bankrate, we got 1 lead at 109 and 1 lead at 112. And so, that's an anecdotal feedback. Jimmy's going to show you some concrete data, but the fact of the matter is, if you advertise with us, you're going to get, a boost to your direct organic website. And then, that's where utilizing something like BankingBridge really is helpful, because you want to be able to make the most of those as well. And so, Jimmy, if you want to take them through the data, I'll kind of pass it over to you.
Yeah, something, because we work on the lender side, so we're working with the mortgage side of things, and what we see is the quality of lead that comes through Bankrate that generates that traffic to your website. So the quality of website traffic is very strong. One little tip that one of our that a lender out there uses is Homefinity. So if you're advertising with Bankrate, you're spending usually your people, paying your people is the most expensive thing, and then the second most expensive thing is probably advertising, which would be Bankrate or whichever platform you're using. The one of the key things that you can do is have your name be a keyword that your brand name, your keyword in Google Ads. You can pay $500 a month. That keeps you at the top of the ranking. And if you're advertising on places like Bankrate, then you can better control where when those leads see your information, they're going to click through. So that's just one little key tip on this slide on the halo effect. But mutual customer stats. So let's look at data and see, how does all this that Nate was just talking about affect our customers or you as a mortgage lender, and why you should choose Bankrate. So we have 2 mutual customers with lead counts based on impressions. So how many times did that lender's logo show up on the rate table? So not a lead converted, just showing up. That's what we're looking at here. So lender 1, we're looking at November 1st of last year and March 1st of this year. So the last 30 days here, and November of last year. So lender 1, 85% increase in product views. So what that means is for March, as their logo appeared more often in March than it did in November, their overall lead count on BankingBridge went from 101 to 350. Huge increase. So I think we might work with 6 or 7 different, maybe 5 or 6 different Bankrate customers. So that is a great way, if you're going to spend some money, spend it on Bankrate, because you're definitely going to get the traffic to your website. And if you use BankingBridge on your site, you're going to improve your chances of converting. So your overall cost per lead is a lot lower. Lender 2, so that's here, same thing, November 1 through November 30th of last year, and then March 30th of this year. 57% increase in product views. So that means that the logo showed up on Bankrate's rate table 57% more in March, and it led to a 60% increase in leads. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at Bankrate as an opportunity for advertising. And we're going to move to well, what does it mean to have BankingBridge and Bankrate work together? Essentially, what we call it is like putting in Bankrate Lite, a light version of Bankrate into your website, which means I need to have reviews in my website. I need to have a rate comparison table in my website. I need to have a lead workflow questionnaire in my website. I need to have calculators in my website. So those are the same kind of tools that somebody would see on Bankrate, so that you're mirroring that the lead goes to Bankrate. That's the type of, they like those tools, and now they're coming to your website and they're finding those same tools on your website. So that's also going to increase your chances of conversion, because you're mirroring exactly what they like. And rate subscriptions is a really interesting service. I don't know if anybody has ever gone on Bankrate and actually gone through the workflow, but you actually start getting rate alert updates from Bankrate, and they serve up some of their advertising partners in those, some of the lenders in those emails. We do the same thing. We allow your website leads to enroll in rate subscriptions. They then get emails weekly from your brand, just your brand, to keep them up to date with rates. So those are the types of things that we would offer into your website to help you maximize conversion there. And then we looked at Google Ads, Facebook ad lead quality. So because we are able to convert thousands of leads a month, we get to see how lots of lenders advertise, what works, what doesn't. In this market today, which is obviously a lot different in 2020 and 2021, Google Ads, Facebook ads are not converting. They're not working. The quality is low. It takes forever for those leads to convert, if they convert at all. So what this slide is supposed to show you is quality of leads. So let's say you spend $5,000 on Google and you get 0 conversions. You spent 5,000, maybe you get, when I say conversion, an actual closed loan. Somebody that actually closed, not clicks, not leads that were converted, but people that actually closed. You may get 1 of those, maybe. So you've wasted $5,000. At least on Bankrate, you spend $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, the quality is there, and that's the key thing, is the quality. And then it's up to you to convert those people. Google, Facebook, you're going to start with low quality leads, and you're going to chase those people, and they're probably not ready to make a purchase or qualified. So that's what hopefully that slide shows you a little bit of information on the overall difference of what we see come in from paid ads versus what Bankrate converts. This is their numbers from their actual conversions on their website. And then this is kind of general consumer preferences in the year 2023. So you think about consumers are brainwashed into shopping online and comparison shopping. So Amazon obviously changed all of that. And if your mortgage website is this great website and you don't have any intangible information that changes every day like rates, why are they going to come back to your website? So the idea is to have a website that gives them something of value, which would be your rates, allowing them to come back and check rates. It's a reason for them to return to your website. You got to make it very easy for those website visitors to find your rates. So here's a great design. You've got today's rates, get a quote. You've got the rate table dropped in, making it super simple for people to shop for their product. But a good goal for 2023, because things have changed so much this year in the last 6 months, maybe it's not lead count. Maybe it's not closed volume, because maybe your volume's down. just increase the time on the page of your website. If you do that, your chances of converting people go way up. And that's what Bankrate does such a great job of, is when people get into their web, somehow they find their brand out there in the wild on the internet and they hit Bankrate. They do an awesome job of giving that visitor information, education, reasons to come back to their website, which as a mortgage lender gives you a better option to be presented at different areas within their platform. So keep that in mind. Rates are a great way to keep people coming back to your website. And we're going to take a look at a couple of different websites. Nate, anything you want to add there on preferences or trends for this year?
No, I think transparency is king in this day and age, in this market, and that's, you know, been Bankrate's value prop for a while, and I think that's what BankingBridge can help bring to your own website as well.
Great. So we're going to flip over and show you some live examples of kind of what we walked through. So we are on Bankrate now. So here is their rate comparison table. Same thing we showed in a couple of those slides. You have a number of lenders here, and here is Homefinity. So this we could click on next and then go through the workflow questionnaire that Nate was walking through, or this person can open up a new tab, which a lot of people do, and they type in Homefinity, and you can see the results that are shown here. So one is, make sure you have a Google My Business page, which is what shows up here on the right, because that's instant credibility. You can have your reviews in there. It's another reason for this person to move forward. But also you can see they have a sponsored position. So they're buying that keyword, which is super inexpensive to do. $500 a month at the most would get you through the month. So now they control where this person.
Yeah, there, Jimmy. That also makes it more expensive for other people to play on your keywords. Yep. If you're bidding on your keywords, it makes it harder for others to do it too.
Yep. So you click on these, one of these links, it goes to the Homefinity website, which is where we are here. And now they have a website that is designed to convert very well. So you have today's rates here in the top. You've got purchase refi here. As you scroll down, they have rates. So those are all tools that BankingBridge provides into this website to help them improve conversion. You click on home purchase or home refinance, it kicks off the BankingBridge workflow. So this is a top of the funnel workflow. It's the same kind of look and feel that someone would have on Bankrate. We're not going to ask for their social. We're not going to get their date of birth. We don't want them to create an account and start an application. It's merely, let's convert this lead. Let's get some info. When they go through here, they actually can get rates. We connect to the pricing engine and they go through and they convert here as well. You click on today's rates and it drives you to a page where they have a rate comparison table. Again, BankingBridge product that mirrors Bankrate. So it's the same thing they're going to see on Bankrate with a rate table, and it increases your chances of converting that person. So instead of paying $150, $180, $200 to convert that person on Bankrate, now you're paying, a tenth of that cost to convert them on your website. And then we're going to look at another example, which would be someone like, let's say, Third Federal, which BankingBridge does not work with. So again, with that example, someone's like, hey, I just want to learn more about them. They open up a tab, they Google their information. They click on the link. So they do have a Google My Business, but they don't have a sponsored link. They click here, and then it takes them to their kind of like their bank website, which is confusing. They do have rates here, and someone's like, okay, I'm trying to submit an application or start a loan. They click on apply today, and now they're getting redirected to some other website page. They want to start, and you can see like no top of the funnel lead is going to do this. They're not going to go through here and create an account. They're just looking to learn more about you, to answer some questions, to get a customized rate quote. They don't want to create an account. So those are two different ways that you can convert leads. One is going to convert, which is what Homefinity does, versus one that's probably used some improvement which is Third Federal. So hopefully those examples helped you. Nate, anything to add there?
No, I think you hit it.
Good. We're going to open it up. So we're at the 30-minute mark. We're going to open it up for some questions. If you have questions, feel free to put those in chat. Let's see here. Let's connect. Good deal. So if Nate, if people want to get started with Bankrate, walk us through what they need to do next steps. What's the best? If there's an email, what would you suggest there?
Yeah, I think my email is on the site, but I'll put it in chat. Natalie, if you're listening, can you put your email in chat as well? If you can email Natalie and myself, we have a pretty standard onboarding process, likely probably most effective, frankly, to get on a 15-minute call, try to understand your goals and objectives a little bit further. And then ultimately there's called a checklist of things that we need from you, such as CRM integration, such as logo, budgets, etc. But if you can shoot an email over to Natalie and myself, that'd be great. And go from there.
Great. We got a question from Ian about CFPB on digital mortgage marketplaces.
Yeah, and Ian, I'd be happy to connect with you individually as well. Maybe there's some other things that we can do together in some other verticals. But I think the thing I would say there is we did used to have a featured tab on our table, and we still feel like that was not necessarily on a line with the current guidance, but it's something that we didn't feel like it was gray area. We didn't even want to take the risk. So we removed our feature tab. And that was really the only change that we made. We feel really good about how we were showing rates and how we are showing rates, and the transparency that we provide and the way that we rank our partners. And so we did review every single aspect, but really that was the only change that we made was we had a featured tab. And then there was reasons, there was consumer benefits to that featured tab, but we went ahead and removed that. Jimmy, do you want me to go through the chat? Are you getting ones I can't see? I can see all the ones in the chat.
I think I'm getting. You can go through them if you feel like there's something I haven't been able to. You can talk about price. I think Natalie has to answer some questions on cost per lead. That's in chat. Maybe you can kind of give a range if you feel like that's something that you want.
Yeah, I think, look, the easiest way is every lead is priced dynamically. So every lead is going to have a different price. All lenders pay the same price though for the lead. Our average purchase lead is around $100. Our average refi lead is almost double that. We evaluate those on a regular basis. There's a variety of factors that go into the pricing, but that's, we're happy to talk more about that individually, but that's I think enough to go on for now.
Does loan tech is that part of the package, or do you?
Yeah,
is that
loan tech is not. We do not charge anything for using loan tech. It's a free service that we provide. If you use, some of our partners do use MoreTech. If you use that, there is a slight charge for using MoreTech that the advertiser pays, and on top of what they pay for using MoreTech. So we encourage everybody to use Loan Tech. It's fairly straightforward and simple and free.
Great. Good. And Brian is on direct home lending. He uses both Bankrate and BankingBridge and sees the benefits there. So just keep in mind when you're out there and you're thinking of new ways to advertise, we see it over and over again, working with 80, 90 lenders, big and small. It is a big investment to sometimes to work with Bankrate, but the quality that you get and the traffic that you get to your website really justifies the spend, and you just got to work the leads and get them, get them to the finish line there. Cool. Yeah, the recording will be emailed to you right after this, so we'll send that out, and we may send out the deck as well so that you can have that. But that's all I've got. Nate, anything?
No, just thank you, Jimmy, for helping set this up. I hope it was beneficial for everybody that joined, and for those who did join, thank you for joining, and hopefully we can follow up and connect and find a way to use this dynamic duo of BankingBridge and Bankrate to help you in this mortgage market.
Yep. Great. Thanks for joining, everybody. See ya. Bye-bye.